the other shop today. It's a Monday, and I'm gonna show you this new project I got. I come home last Thursday and had a note on my door. I drop it, right here. Uh, apparently, I'm a collector of these things, so I'm gonna flip this video around and show you the car, and I'll tell you the story as we do a little walk around here. And alright, what we have is another 1994 Geo Metro. I don't know what I'm going to do with this car yet, but we're going to see if we can get it to run. And I've took the battery out of it and I went ahead and put it on the charger. But I'll also draw some pictures of where we picked this thing up. We picked it up at a shop. The guy had another transmission put in his car. And the story goes that the car runs and drives, but the transmission won't shift. We're going to see what happens. So, like I said, I've got the battery charging. We're going to throw the battery in it. This thing don't have no ignition switch in it, so we got a series of toggle switches and push button things, and we're missing parts and stuff like that. What I do know is it appears this car has sat at least 2 to 3 years. Talked to the guy that owned it. He's a real cool guy. Brought me some extra parts and a service manual, believe that or not. I've not seen one of those in a very long time. So he didn't want to junk this car, and that's not what we're going to do with it. We're going to do something with it. What that exactly is I don't know yet. So, you got any ideas? Drop them down in the comments below. I want to do something cool with it. I'm not going to rear engine it, and I'm not going to V8 it. I've been there, and I'm currently doing that, or have done that. I always wanted to build a Geo truck. We might do that. But, don't know yet. So, enough kind of bantering about this. Let's see if will it run? Well, got a battery thrown in there, so let's see what we got here. Now this thing has a series of toggle switches that seem to do things in the car. And we don't have nothing with the toggle switch, so we may have to hook up our, let's turn the ignition off here. We may have to hook something else up. So let me go get my little push button starter and let me hook it to the starter down here, and we'll see what this thing does. Alright, I got my little push button right here. It's hooked up. Well, it might help if I hooked it to the battery, wouldn't it? So, it might help if I was, yeah, there. Yep, it turns over. Yeah, let's throw some power over here from the ignition switch. Let's see what we got. Well, don't look like we got anything. Let's sit y'all down here for a second. It's got a new air filter in it. Well, it looks like somebody's put a fuel injector in it. So that's either a scary or a good thing. Let me go see if I can find a can of brake cleaner, and we'll see if this thing will run. Be right back. Well, I found a can of brake cleaner. But real quick, let's make sure it's not getting no fuel and make sure it's not an ignition issue. Yep, we got no fuel spraying in the throttle body, so let's give her a little toot here and see what we got. Well, it runs. That little metal piece there was being a little annoying, so I ripped it off there real quick. Let's see if we can get back started here. Let it run for a minute. Well, it will run. So, I guess at this point, what I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to check and make sure I got power back at my fuel pump. And once I check that, if we have power back there, the fuel pump's going to be down on it. Because it shows when the switch in there is turned on that it does have gas. Now, I don't really trust some of the wiring job in here. And this is what happens when you take it to shops that really don't know what they're doing. They do stuff like this. They used heat shrink, little push-on connectors, but they didn't even heat shrink them. And I'll expand more on the transmission after we see if it works. But I'm pretty sure, just from talking to the guy that owned this car and talking to the shop that had it, it's about a $10 fix. I don't know. Like I said, I picked this car up the end of last week, kind of unexpectedly. And just from the stories, I'm pretty sure we can fix this thing for a little or nothing. So I'm going to check for power back here at the fuel pump, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, we're back in. I went and got my little Power Pro here. I'm not sponsored by them by no means, but I've got a couple of these. These things are pretty awesome. Especially if you want to shoot some power into a wire or a ground, and you want to skin your wire back. You got these cool little wire piercers. So what I'm going to do, the fuel pump wires on these cars are here under the back seat. It kind of concerned me because the back seat was already pulled up in this car. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our wire piercer here, and our fuel pump connector is this little clear connector here under the seat. Obviously our black wire is going to be our ground, and our pink wire will be our switched hot wire. So right now we're showing ground on this wire, and I'm going to go over here and flip toggle switch, and I'm going to reach over y'all and flip this toggle switch, and see if we got power. Well, we don't have no power there. Well, let me try to start the car up here, and y'all can tell me if it switches to power. Well, I got everything off. Let's throw a little power to it and see what we got. You hear that? Well, even though we don't have no power on our wire back here, that's not our problem. Our fuel pump's locked up. So that's real common on these cars. I'll show you why. And a lot of y'all may be screaming, do a little more diagnostic on it. Yeah, I just threw powered fuel pump and it don't run. So you can hear it click in the tank. What we have here, we have an aftermarket gas cap. Unfortunately, it's a locking gas cap, and I don't have a key to it. But these cars, if you run them without a gas cap, or you run one of these aftermarket ones, when it rains, water runs down here and drips on this. Guess where the water goes? With a regular gas cap, it drains out and comes out the bottom of the body here. Locking one, it generally runs down the lock, which gets inside the vented portion of the cap sometimes and fills the tank full of water. Or if you run one of these cars without gas cap, you're going to have a tank full of water. So at this point, I want to get my big pair of pliers. So I'm going to rip this gas cap off and we'll be back. Alright, I'm going to get my big pair of channel locks. I'm going to show you why locking gas caps aren't really securing anything. Yep, there it is. So now what we're left with an insert right here that screws right out. And once again, got that off faster than you take a regular gas cap off. Think one of those is going to stop somebody from stealing your gas? Not so much. But looking down in here, we do have some corrosion. So I'm pretty sure exactly what I thought was happening is happening. So at this point, and I preemptively, we rolled this thing over here to where the lift's at the shop. I'm going to lift this thing up and drop the tank back out of it, and then I'll be back. Well, I got the car up in the lift, and this was almost too good not to share it. Look at this core support. Where somebody's hooked the strap to this thing. They literally ripped it out of the car. And the AC condenser's just barely hanging there. Got a little rust down here on the bottom pieces, but looks like we got good solid frame horns on both sides, and we got a real clean transmission. But look at this oil drain plug, guys. How are you supposed to change oil in this thing? Good thing I've got an extra oil pan. And for this thing just to have a transmission put in it, got an axle boot just hanging out down here on the shaft, and I'm just kind of amazed sometimes of what people do. But the rest of the car looks super clean. Get a little crusties back here on some control arms and stuff, but we don't seem to have no rot in the floors. Car's got real good tires on it all the way around. So I'm going to start working on getting this gas tank out. These are pretty easy to get out of these cars. Pretty much you got just a few bolts around the perimeter. And my filler neck, you got 3 screws up on the top and a little 10mm right here. So I'm gonna get to pulling this thing out and then I'll be back. Well, I got her tank out. I got her sending unit out, and well, that's why the pump won't run. Guarantee the gas gauge didn't work either. You think that looks bad? Maybe I'll look down in here. Now, these tanks are like paper, like the rest of the car. And to be honest, I pulled out some stuff that sat for a long time, and I've never smelled no gas that smells like this. It smells literally moldy. So that kind of sucks. I got another gas tank at Dad's house, and I think I'm gonna go get it. I really hope it's got another sending unit. If it does, that's what we're gonna put in this thing. But it looks like I gotta blow some fuel lines and out also, so let's get on that.
The next day.
Well, it's the next day, and I had to leave a little early from the shop. I went and got her other gas tank that came out of my LS6 Metro when I done rear-wheel drive stuff in it, since this tank was so bad. And I put that tank in this car. I did have a new fuel pump. I went ahead and put it in that tank, even though the factory fuel pump was still good in it. It's been out of the car for 10 years and looked like brand new inside. So this morning I come in here, and I also done the rear fuel filter delete, and I moved the metal can fuel filter here under the hood, just because I don't know what condition the fuel lines are in. Much easier to change this one than the one on these cars back by the tank. And that one's $4 versus like $35 now. So I got her battery hooked up, and I went ahead and hooked her little push button switch up. And let's see if this thing will run. I've not turned any power on or anything, so let's see if we can hear a fuel pump. It sounds like it. And for some reason they got the fan wired on the switch too. At least have a fan switch down there, so probably whoever done the ignition switch wiring messed it up. So well, that's annoying. Put a little WD-40 on that and shut it up. Well, that worked for about 10 seconds. And the fuel is stinking. So cut it off in there. This is loud and annoying. Nobody wants to hear all that mess, but we got a running car now. It does seem like it will take gear. So at this point, I guess on our next video for this car, we got to decide what we're doing to it. I got to fix that mess of toggle switches and push button mess in there. That's important next. That way we start the car from inside. So basically, that's going to be the end of this video for this one. For now, I don't have time to devote to this car right now, but we did get it to run, and I'm pretty sure it'll move around. So if it don't move around, I guess they didn't put a good transmission in it. So we'll see. But I gotta go home and start getting ready to clear Project Phoenix. So that's gonna be a wrap for today for this car. So just remember, 500 subscribers, I'm gonna do a cool giveaway. I'm gonna give away some kind of collectible, and we also have to have 500 subscribers to go to No Name Nationals. So make sure you share this stuff with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe. And at 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna give something even cooler away. You never know. But it will be some kind of cool collectible. So until then, I'll see you tomorrow.